Hi YouTube, it's Lena, and I'm here today with the Project Use It Up 2021 update. So, for those of you that are new, this is just kind of a continuously rolling project pan where I work on minis of mostly like skincare and hair care. I put my mascaras in here to remind myself to throw them out after 3 months because I have very sensitive eyes and I can't really play with those kind of expiration dates for something that not just touches my eye but actually touches like the inner bit of my eye a little bit. So, and sometimes I throw in some makeup too, and this is where I keep track of like how many sheet masks I use a month and stuff like that. So this will roll in right into 2022, and this is just a continuous thing. There is no finale. So those little bits out of the way, I did finish 2 things from last month. My mascara died, so this is the Anastasia Lash Brag Volumizing Mascara. I can link my empties down below to give you guys like a full review of what I thought of this, but short version is I did really like it. I would repurchase a mini in the future, but not a full size because, you know, high-end full-size mascaras are very expensive. And just the other day I finished this. This is the Living Proof Restore Perfecting Spray, the conditioning and detangling spray for your hair. Worked really nicely. There is like a tiny bit left in the bottom, but unfortunately it will not spray out, and I don't really want to mix this with something else because that can do weird things to formulas when they don't necessarily match, but this isn't enough to saturate like one section of my hair, so I'm not really worried about it. Now, to get into everything that's carrying over, first I have this Tarte Lip Quench. This is in the shade Berry. I did actually track my paper progress here. But I thought I'd be a little further along on this. Usually with these lip balms, I can finish them really quickly. It's kind of why I threw it in here. But I left this in my suitcase a couple of days. I went out of town the weekend after my birthday to New Orleans to go see a live show of my favorite podcast. It's Last Podcast on the Left. It's a kind of true crime with a bit of comedy hybrid thrown in there because I have a pretty dark sense of humor. Or at least I can sometimes. So it falls really in line with both my interest in true crime and my weird sense of humor. So I threw that in my suitcase and then forgot to take it out for 2 days. So it does have a little bit less progress on it than it normally would, but I kind of wanted to finish it by the end of this year, but if I don't, that's okay. It's not a huge deal by any means. And next, I have the Elise Watermelon Balm. This is a moisturizer that I've been using at nighttime. These are my progress marks. This is almost done. If I'd waited a few days before filming this, several things in here would be done. But because I am trying to actually do some catching up on my Vlogmas because I ended up having to spend a day in recovery the day after we got back, because I wish I could say it was because I was hungover. No, I was worn out from having to run all over the French Quarter because it's nigh impossible to find parking anywhere in New Orleans, especially when you are staying and doing everything in the French Quarter, so we walked everywhere. So by the time I got home, I was worn the hell out and just didn't want to move, much less put on makeup and film anything, so I missed a day. So I'm doing a little bit of catching up, but if I had wait, that's why I'm filming this now instead of probably in a couple of days. But I'll finish this in a few days. It's fine. Speaking of stuff that I will finish in a few days, I didn't even want to turn this over. It is the CosRx Advanced Snail 96 Mucin Power Essence. Last time, this is upside down, I was up to here. I am now like below my original mark. Once again, there's only a couple of days left in this, but because this is a bit of a thicker product, I don't want to keep turning it over and over to try to get all the product out. But it'll be done soon, and next month there will be a lot of new stuff in here, like how we'll also be replacing this. This is the e.l.f. Super Mask, a mask with soothing centella. This is just a hydrating mask. I literally have like one usage left in it. Its weight went from 37.8 grams to 33.9. Like I said, one more use and this will be done. I actually focused a little bit more on my Generation Clay masks this month. So like, because I do this when I take a bath because it's just fun to relax with the mask in there. And I've been focusing more on both finishing my old one and starting my new one for both that are in my 50 Shades of Purple Project Pan. This one kind of got left by the wayside a little bit more. Alright, so I think those are the three things that are like the closest to being finished. This I only used once. I literally used it tonight to kind of smooth down some flyaways in my hair. It is the Living Proof Anti-Frizz Humidity Shield Finishing Hairspray. God, it has a strong smell. Like some of the Living Proof products I really like the smell in, but mostly for the aerosol ones it's a bit intense. Anyways, its weight went from 75 grams to 73.2. So literally used it once. I need to move this where I do my makeup because if I do something with my hair, I do it in the same place. Or even if I'm just like pulling it up in a ponytail and wanting to smooth away the flyaways, I need to put that where I'm actually going to use it. Next is my number 7 eye cream. I cut open the packaging last month thinking I was almost done and had a ton of it left. So I moved it to this little pot to keep it fresh. And somebody mentioned last month that I could have, in an effort to get, you know, more accurate weights from the old product to the new, or the old packaging to the new, have like weighed this and weighed the old packaging to get this empty to get like an idea of how much is actually in here. Definitely should have done that. I've done stuff like that in the past, just totally blanked on it, but it's okay. The weight of this went from 19 grams to 17.3. I will finish this by the end of the year, and that's all that I'm really worried about. It'll be done soon enough. I'm not too concerned about it. Next, something that may or may not be done by the end of the year is this Acure Brightening Facial Scrub. Here are my marks. I only have a couple of uses left, but because I don't use this more than like twice a week, I don't know if I will get through it by then. If I don't, it's okay. I'm not too worried about it. But it's always nice to have more empties to show at the end of the year. Especially since this year that I kept all of my empties to do videos on. Like, I'm going to do a makeup one, obviously, but I'm also going to do a skincare, a hair care, and a body care. I might combine those two because there are less of those versus the skincare one. So, because I was crazy and decided I'm going to keep everything this year and show it. Oh, it's been a pain in the butt to store all of that stuff. You guys have no idea. And the final product that I'm carrying over that actually has some progress, thankfully, is the Pure Dnky Body Butter. Now, I can't use this all over my body. It smells a little too intense for that. But sometimes I use this on my hands, and now that I have finished a full-size lotion that I was working on, I have one mini to use up in front of this now, and then I will get to this, and I think I will just use it like on my legs to kind of get it used up because this is really old. And it's not cruelty-free, so I kind of want to push it out of my collection. I'm certainly not going to finish it by the end of this month by any means, but I did make a little bit of progress on it. I actually used it on my hands tonight before filming this. So, the two things that I'm rolling in first, mascara. This is the Wet n Wild Max Volume Mascara. I actually really love this mascara, but because of Wet n Wild's kind of wonky cruelty-free status, I will not be repurchasing. This is actually from a holiday kit one year, that's why it's a mini, and I gave out 4 of them, like 4 other ones, and because I had one left over, I just kept this particular one for myself because I knew I liked it. So that will be going at the end of the month. And the other thing that I think I can finish by the end of this month is the Becca Skin Love Brighten and Blur Primer. I use this to fill in my pores. We are a little over halfway done, as long as, you know, I keep wearing makeup, obviously. I don't foresee this being a problem to use up and getting another primer out of my collection by the end of the year, which is good because I apparently, even though new, I had way too many primers, bought so many primers this year. Like, I didn't even realize it. And I know one thing was because some Ulta deal had like a one-day event of like a free bag of primers. And it was like 9 of them, and I got it. And I'm like, why did I do that? But I have just as many primers as I did last year. And I mentioned this is where I keep track of my sheet masks. I try to use 10 a month. Most months I don't hit that, but I do try. But I have already finished 4 this month, and these are the next 6 that I want to work on. So I figure I'll show them to you guys. These are the Brtc Vitamin A and Vitamin B5 Velvet Mask. The A is for firming, and the B5 is for soothing. I have a Tony Moly, the Chalk Chalk Green Tea Watery Sheet Mask. I have 2 of these Pharmacy Hydrating Gel Sheet Masks. And a Vitamask Cranberry and Apple Probiotic Repair Sheet Mask. I got these in my FabFitFun, and I'm actually really excited to try them. So, that is it.